Live from New York. It's a show that's wishing Chris Broussard a happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, man. Bruce's been married longer than I've been alive.
It's not that far away.
Exactly.
I mean,
Pretty
it's close.
You
were a toddler in pajamas.
Okay, so this was his first chance. The middle part was okay. Game 1, he had 12 points, shot less than 18%, had 2 turnovers. And then the closeout game, he had 13 points, shot and maybe this wasn't an honor of Larry Bird, 33%, and had 5 turnovers.
Which gave him how many for the postseason?
He gave him 100 turnovers on the dot on the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I was viewed as a hater for mentioning a fact. So what's on the line for Tatum, bro?
Respect. And obviously he's viewed as a great player. But I don't think he gets the level of respect, for lack of a better term, that his accolades would warrant. And maybe you might have a lot to do with it, because all you talked about is the 100 turnovers, 100 turnovers.
He turned the ball over 100 times.
100 turnovers. We'll get to that. But this is a guy that's 3-time, he's 26. 26 years old. He's a 3-time first-team All-NBA. All right, he's been to 5 Eastern Conference Finals, and I just don't think he gets the respect he deserves at that level. If people want to say, well, he hasn't won yet, well, neither had LeBron, Michael Jordan, Akeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal. They hadn't won at 26. And so he just feels like like I said, doesn't get the respect that he warrants. And even if you want to say, well, when he played in the finals his first time, he didn't play well. Well, let's look at his finals numbers. They weren't great, obviously, but there's a blind reveal. Nick, you know
LeBron
who that
James
is?
in
That's
2007.
LeBron's first finals.
Yeah.
LeBron was in his 4th year. Tatum was in his 5th year. And I'm not saying that to disparage LeBron. I'm just saying 21, 7, and 7. And, I mean, his numbers overall were better than LeBron's, and yet Tatum seems to get crushed. And I get it. LeBron got criticized, although he was so young he didn't get a ton. He got a ton after Dallas.
Yeah.
All right. Larry Bird, in his first finals, he had 2 8-point games and a 12-point game. He had a 3-game stretch where he shot like 28% and averaged 9 points. All right. So I'm just saying that I don't think he gets the respect. Now, I want to throw out a few theories. Why doesn't he? Because I don't think it should be that he hasn't won. I just threw out all the history behind that with other players. I think it's because he doesn't. We've seen him before in better versions. He kind of plays like Kobe. Kind of obviously he has the 3-point line, which a lot of guys didn't. But we've seen Kobe, and Kobe's better. Is he comparable to Jordan? I mean, similar. 6'8" guy that can handle, can take you off the dribble, can shoot. He's not
like
that
a B-plus version of some legends, is what you're saying?
I mean, look at the guys he's competing with. Luka is flirts with a triple-double average every season. Jokic is the first ever point center. Giannis is a 7-foot super athlete. And Anthony Edwards and Ja Morant were just freakishly athletic and spectacular. So Tatum isn't like any of those guys in terms of being unique or spectacular. And I think that's why. So if he wins it, Nick, quickly, then I think you will have to respect him as one of the greatest players in this kind of post-LeBron Curry era.
All right. So before I answer the question, I want to respond to what Bruce said. Because I don't think Jayson Tatum is unfairly covered at all. I think there are 3 guys in the league, 3 guys, who are universally held in higher regard than him. And they're all better. Jokic, Giannis, Luka. That's the entire list of people that are universally considered better than him. You know why? Because they're all better than him.
You don't put Embiid in there?
Well, so Embiid is a guy who I think is more individually accomplished, but I do not think he's more universally.
Doesn't get the criticism that Tatum gets.
Oh, I disagree with that. I think Joel Embiid I think right now there are a lot of people that if you were to list the best 8 players in the league would leave Embiid off because of the postseason failures. I think that Tatum you mentioned 3 first-team All-NBAs is great. It is great. Luka is one of the guys ahead of him, has 5 at 25. So Giannis is more accomplished. Jokic is more accomplished.
I'm not even talking about those 3.
Right, but I don't think he is universally, panned compared to how people talk about Anthony Edwards. I think people got very excited by Anthony Edwards this postseason run, and Anthony Edwards up until the very end, had been having a far better postseason than Tatum. He had multiple 40-point games. He upset the defending champs. It was reasonable. I don't see a lot of guys on Tatum's level that are being pushed ahead of him. It's guys who are better than him. Now, if people want to say SGA got pushed ahead of him in other circles, I don't think so much on this show. I think that SGA...
Well, he wasn't in his team won 64 games. He wasn't in the top 5 MVP.
Right, but
Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson was correct, but did Tatum make first-team All-NBA over Brunson? So they kind of made it even on that front. I think Jayson Tatum is properly rated. He is at best the 5th and at worst the 8th best player in the league. And he is talked about to me as such. I think that what's on the line here is preventing real disaster. It would be the 3rd biggest upset in finals history since the merger. So the biggest upset is the 04 Pistons over the Lakers. The Lakers broke up after that. Some would say they were en route to breaking up already. The 2nd biggest upset's a weird one, because it's the 2019 Raptors over the Warriors, but Durant plays 11 minutes, Clay blows out his knee.
I assume that line switched once.
Well, this is the line going into game one, when Clay was healthy and when Durant was going to be coming back at some point. If they knew Durant was not going to play, the line would have been different. So there's that. There is also the historical precedence of we have never seen a team bang on the door this many times and not get through. Here's the full list of teams since Russell's Celtics to make 6 conference finals in 8 years. Every single one of them got at least 1 title. Tatum and Brown Celtics. Now, to be fair to Jayson, he wasn't there for the first one of this, so he's only been to 5. But the team...
And the Sixers with Dr. J added, to get over the hump, they added Moses Malone.
Right, and the Celtics this year, they didn't add Moses Malone, but they added Kristaps and Drew. Yep. You know what I mean? They're doing things. If we were to lower the threshold to 5 conference finals, you have Duncan Spurs, who in that time frame, we can take this down, won 3. Shaq and Kobe's Lakers, who won 3. Isaiah's Pistons, who won 2. Havlicek's Celtics, who won 2. The only teams to make even 5 conference finals in 8 years and not get it done would be this Celtics team and Reggie's Pacers and the Malone Stockton Jazz, who are known, not so much Reggie's Pacers because it felt like they were never the better team, but Malone Stockton's Jazz, that's kind of a gift and a curse when you talk about, they are the kind of go-to for really, really good team that couldn't get over the hump. And in large part, it's because we just felt like as great as Karl Malone and John Stockton were, they weren't as good as Hakeem, or they weren't as good as Barkley when they had to beat him, or they weren't as good as Jordan.
Well, yeah, it was mainly Jordan.
It was Jordan too, but I'm talking about the.
Right.
And so I want to show one other thing, because the thing is this, and this is why I don't think they're going to get it done. If you don't have a guy who has already been either an MVP or damn close, you don't win. So this is the last 30 years. Made in NBA Finals, no one on your roster has ever been top 3 in MVP finishes. Not just that year, ever in their career.
So that's just top 3.
That's top 3. That's just the best of the best.
What do you count?
It's hard enough to make it, but then it's
if he wins this, will you put him in that group that doesn't have a top 3? I mean, he hasn't been a top 3 MVP.
Yeah, I mean,
that's part of what's at stake for him. If they win this championship, I bet you next year he's probably in the top 3, assuming he has a good, you know what I mean?
And by the way, if that graphic was confusing,
it's just I'm trying to go through every top 3 MVP.
So I don't know if we can show it back up on there. So it's everyone on the roster. Have they, as of the first day of the finals, ever finished top 3 MVP in their career?
But you're counting like Celtics Garnett, who was not necessarily MVP Minnesota Garnett. Well, kind of different player, but it counts as
but leadership. I think that year with Boston, I think he was 4th in MVP voting.
Was he really? Okay.
Yeah,
and was he like 18 and?
So I'm just telling you, we can.
And you've got teams like Dallas that won in 2011. Dirk had been obviously an MVP, but at that point he wasn't.
No, because of MVP DNA.
Yeah, and so I'm just saying what it is.
What's interesting, you use the word disaster, and I thought you were going to go toward. I don't think it's a disaster for Jayson Tatum. It's going to be a knock. People will continue to wonder, is he a guy that can be the best player on a championship team?
I think it's a disaster for Boston.
But that's what I was thinking you might go toward. Yep. Will they rebuild? Like, will they listen to offers for Tatum or even shop Brown or Tatum?
No, they cannot do that again. I cannot go through the media cycle of that.
But I think if they lose, that's whether it's true or not, that's what's going to happen. People are going to be like, if you didn't win it this year, when Jokic was out, losing to Golden State's no shame. Losing to Denver this year would have been no shame. If you now lose to a younger team that didn't even make the playoffs last year in Dallas, and then you got OKC and Minnesota, and Dallas isn't going anywhere, and Milwaukee and Philly will be like, this is the year for the Celtics.
Should be the year.
And if you don't win it, then maybe you have to, retool a little bit.
Well, that's why they're huge favorites. Yeah. So should win it. Head to Dallas. I'm ready to say it. I really like Joe Mazzulla.
Oh, you're in now?
I maybe love Joe. Watch when the Celtics win. Be like, this guy's a genius.
He will be viewed.
He will.
I kind of like him
locked
too,
in.
But he better win.
All right, West Finals. Kyrie and Luka were both excellent, obviously. Is the descriptions of, are they historically the best duo of all time a little much, perhaps?
Well, backcourt.
More to gain from a title, Luka or Kyrie?
This is one of those ones where I'm very excited to hear what Bruce says because, well, both of you say it, but because I think it's obvious. I think it's definitively, unquestionably Luka. Because Luka's playing for different stakes than Kyrie. To me, Kyrie has kind of already redeemed is too strong because he didn't have to redeem himself, but he has made up for in relative short order the oddness of the last half decade. Show that he can be a part of winning basketball without LeBron alongside him, and if they lose as an underdog to a 64-win Celtics team, assuming Kyrie isn't just a total disaster, I don't think it's going to hang it around his neck. Luka's playing for totally different stakes. He's 25 years old. He's made 5 first-team All-NBAs. As I've said before, that's more than Steph Curry in his career already. Not at age 25, career versus career. If he then also wins a championship, we know the individual numbers are bananas. We know that the counting stats, the per-game stats, all of that is off the charts. If he adds to it, Brew, a championship faster than just about anybody who didn't have a Hall of Fame big alongside him. Like, I looked it up. If we just go from 1980 to now, the only people to win a championship earlier than Luka at age 25, Tim Duncan had not prime, but very, very good David Robinson alongside him. Dwayne Wade had tail end of his prime Shaq alongside him. Kobe obviously had Shaq alongside him. Magic had Kareem alongside him. The only one who was younger was Larry Bird by a few months. Larry Bird was 24 and a half. Luka just turned 25. You don't win a championship at this age, historically speaking, unless you are either a co-star or the clear supporting actor to an all-time legend. And so, to me, he's one of the only people who, has realistically can challenge some of LeBron's counting stats because he started so young and had such great numbers. If he gets a ring at 25, Brew, the whole world's available to him. So to me, it's clearly Luka.
I agree with just about everything you said. And
Thank you for letting me go first. We didn't know it was going to go.
I mean, Kyrie, he has largely gotten the benefit already. Now, obviously, a ring is great. Now you're a 2-time champion and all that. But I mean, in terms of PR, he has. I don't even know that redeemed is too strong a word. Maybe, but he's cleared all that out. And now nobody's talking about off the court issues or even the injuries. They're talking about his game, which is awesome. I do think he could gain perhaps, I thought when he was left off the top 75 team, I thought he had an argument. I wasn't saying definitive, but there's an argument, but you could point to the injuries. And forget the off-the-court stuff, just the injuries he had.
Hadn't played enough basketball.
Right, he didn't play enough. So, but now I think if they win this, he will be viewed as a winner, all right? And if he wins this, I think when they do the top 100, because, they do it every 25 years, because most of those top 100 guys will be the younger, the Luka, Jayson Tatum generation. But Kyrie could get in there kind of as a guy from the past generation that should have made it, so he could make that. And the thing Nick was saying, like, Luka is the number one. If Kyrie were the number one on this team,
then it's different.
Then it is different. But now he could go down as one of the greatest wingmen. If we take out Magic and Kobe because they became number ones and were kind of number ones, now you got Pippen is number one, I think, and then probably Dwayne Wade, if you count him as a two. Because he was with LeBron. He was a two when he won his last two rings.
Do you consider Dwayne Wade like a supporting actor?
This
like
is
that's how you
a whole
view
nother topic.
Right, it is. Yeah, who is a wingman and who isn't could be a discussion. But the bottom line is Kyrie will be in the discussion, not for number one, but one of the greatest wingmen ever. For Luka, Nick, Luka should go down. And I felt this way when I called him Luka Legend. I felt this way. If everything goes according to plan, as we see, when he retires, he should be in that discussion for, at the very least, for top 10 player of all time.
I totally
Now, again,
agree.
there's 15 guys in that discussion, but he should be one of them. But you got to get rings. Wilt's in the discussion, he's got 2, but some people kind of keep him out of it. And Bird's the only one with the lowest, with 3.
Yeah.
Everybody else is 4, 5, 6. Or 11.
Yeah.
So he's got to start racking up rings, and winning this will get him to that, and he'll be in the best player in the world discussion.
And it's so much faster. Again, at 25, Giannis, Jokic, Steph, LeBron, Michael, none of them had it.
Yep.
But he's got what, 6? But this is year 6 for him?
Yeah, but
He came
by
in
the
at
way,
19,
that was the
right?
Yeah,
Year
but I don't.
6, LeBron was in 8. Jordan was in 7. Olajuwon was like maybe 11.
Yeah,
9,
Olajuwon got
11.
there in year 2 and then didn't get back forever, year 2 or year 3.
Dirk
Calendar
was year
age is
13.
not doing it for me.
What do you mean?
I like NBA seasons over calendar age.
Okay, but
It's still unique, though.
It's still faster than Giannis, Jokic, LeBron, Michael. It's faster than all of them. It's not faster than Wade, who again had Shaq alongside him. It's not faster than Magic in age or calendar seasons, but he had Kareem alongside him. It was Bird's second season when he won it, but Bird also was like 5 years in college.
And it had a bunch of older Hall of Famers who weren't at their prime, but Tiny Archibald was on that team. McHale and Parrish, I believe, but they were younger, but that was a talented team.
Okay, game 1 Thursday night.
Vegas loves the Celtics, and I guess that's why. But I'm looking at Indiana. Okay, they beat Indiana in 4 games, but one game was 5 points in overtime, game 1. 2 other games were 3 points. So those were close games.
What close?
Oh, it was I don't know if that one was that close of a sweep because nobody really felt like Indiana had a shot.
Okay.
All right, but
But Celtics over Nets was a close sweep. Celtics over the Pacers,
you had
sweep.
Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, so there was a reason to believe they might win. Even the Lakers, Nick won't admit it because it's my phrase. But the Lakers against the Nuggets, the first year, fairly close sweep. The games were close. All right, but no, I think that they are being. They got the best player on the court, and Boston has not been great at home.
Yeah, we have those numbers. Throw those numbers up, Hubs. Celtics at home. Go ahead, Bruce. Keep going. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying because of all these reasons, I don't think it should be the spread should be this big. Look, Boston has had a lot of blowouts, but they didn't have a lot recently against Indiana. And they have not faced a team like Dallas. Nick, we talked about it in the playoffs. This run, without checking every single year, this is the easiest run to the NBA Finals I've ever seen. All right, and people talked about the 2015 Warriors when a couple people were hurt. They faced a lot stiffer competition than this. And here's the thing: Boston beat no 50-win teams en route to the finals, and those teams were generally without their best player. They played 10 games against 50-win teams in the West this year. They were 5-5. It's not bad, but I'm just saying, all this dominance and this 64 wins and winning by 11 points a game, when they played the top teams in the West, they were fine. They were 5-5, 500.
Listen, I thought you were going to say something different but similar. Without looking it up, I can say definitively, the Mavs were one of 5 teams ever to face only 50-plus win teams en route to the finals. The Celtics are one of 7 teams ever to face 0 50-win teams en route to the finals, again, with an 82-game season in the 3-round format. So we have never seen a bigger discrepancy in difficulty of path en route to the finals. Now, to be fair to Boston, yes, everyone they faced was a sub-50-win team and all without their best player for either some or the entirety of the series. The Celtics were also without an important piece for them, a 20-point-per-game guy in Kristaps. But I am also, one of the reasons I think this number's a touch too big, Wildes, is I think that it's only reasonable to say Kristaps' least effective game is going to be game 1, and the game where him being, worked back in has the most herky-jerky effect would be game 1. I actually might pick the Celtics to win game 1 because the Mavs prior to this year didn't do so well in game 1s. But I think 6.5 is too much.
Just quickly, Brew, I understand the hard path for the Mavs and the moderately easy path.
Not moderately, easy.
Okay, easy. How does that manifest in the games? Are they going to be rusty? Or I don't understand why that matters.
No, you're right. I think you said last week, Nick, that the Celtics will be shocked by the upgrade in competition. I don't really feel that. I mean, it's the NBA. They've obviously played these top teams throughout the season, but I just think that people are they went 12-2 in the playoffs. I think people are overblowing that because they're not looking at the context of the competition.
Here's, just if I may very quickly, the way I think it manifests itself is the Celtics have been able, to my eye, kind of screw around for the first 3 quarters of a lot of these games and then just be like, okay, you know what I mean? We're more talented. And sometimes for the first 44 minutes of games,
they do that.
You're not going to be able to do that against Dallas. Now, maybe Mavs will have them ready and make sure they don't. I think that can be a hard adjustment.
There's been a feeling the Mavs have done a little of that, too.
Oh, I don't.
Coming back against OKC.
Maybe.
OKC dominates the game. Mavs come back. Minnesota obviously had them.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.